edition of SWAP aims to foster dialogue between cities with a dynamic, emerging, and innovative art scene. Of particular note is the Tokyo-Seoul focus, exploring the intersection between tradition and futurism in the contemporary context of these East Asian megacities. We welcome Kelvin Kyung Park, Curator of Focus Tokyo-Seoul, and Kim Inseon of Space Wheeling and Dealing. Thank you to be there.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting us.
The thematic would be On the Horizon, Post-Global, Echoes of Tradition from Tokyo and Seoul. I would like to propose you some multiple questions and above all let you a free space to talk about this thematic. I'm going to start with the first questions, and is that one. How do you perceive the interplay between historical continuity and modern innovation within the contemporary art scenes of Tokyo and Seoul?
I think you need to understand a little bit about the modern history of Asia. And in my opinion, the Opium War was the kind of a marker of how we entered into modernity. And basically, the narrative is the Western infiltration of Western philosophy, science, technology, culture into the East. And this was through it was kind of a colonial situation. And so I think for us in Korea and Japan, since China was defeated, this was a shock, maybe. So I think, in my opinion, historically, there's that trauma of the Opium War, how the Eastern civilization faced the modernity. I think there's some kind of a shaking. And but I think somehow we are maybe about 100 years past. We are somehow trying to, I don't know, renegotiate, maybe heal, maybe think about something for the future, and to maybe really appreciate some traditions that we have lost. And there's some kind of I feel that there's some kind of revival of the kind of what the essence of that culture was in the past, and the kind of beauty and aesthetics and values. And I think I think that 100-year period, we developed that time and space to have that reflection of what our modernity past 100 years, the fast-paced industrialization, you need to catch up to the West, what that was all about. I think there's this kind of room for some kind of retrospection, hopefully.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, historically, we have in 1963, 1950 something, we have a war between North and South Korea. So after that, our society totally destroyed, and we had to build up very quickly. So that's a really important period, especially in 1970s. The development of the industrializing is really fast, and we became sudden rich status. And then at that time, the collection about the art or the artist itself is not that rich at the time. But since we have some kind of a big issue about the economically got some kind of a big issue, people start to invest in the artwork. So investment itself is very important issue in Korea, even now. But it's better developing that through we got some kind of focus on the K art, got attention about the K art, K pop or something. Korean art became more, developed and more interesting to the other people. And in Korea, there is lots of collectors developed. So that kind of things is recent, trend.
Very, very recent.
Yeah. So, well, historically, what he, as he mentioned, it is as it is developed, and then now going on with changing the concept about the arts and the art collecting now. So that's what I'm saying.
Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it. Thank you. I'm going to go with the second questions. Um, Given the different historical trajectories of Japan and South Korea, Japan's preservation of cultural traditions, and South Korea's rapid post-war industrialization, the same things that we said before. How have these factors influenced the evolution of their respective art markets, and what are the most significant points of convergence and divergence between the contemporary artistic trends between Tokyo and Seoul? What do you think about that?
Um, I'm an artist, so I'm not so much expert on markets. Um, and also I'm based in Seoul, and unfortunately, I feel that there's not enough communication between Tokyo and Seoul. I think Swap this fair kind of created an opportunity, kind of a market to meet and talk to each other, and so this kind of opportunity is very, very good, in my opinion. But I think there should be more communication between Korea and Japan. And we have many factors make this difficult. So we have the obvious factor is the colonial past between Japan and Korea. For maybe for much older generation, they still feel there is some kind of a victimhood from the Japanese. But then maybe the newer generation, younger generation, maybe mine and maybe below, we feel less of that. But I think this is maybe a problem or challenge for us in East Asia to how we communicate to each other much better. So, because in a way, we're very similar, our situation, our culture. We have this kind of hierarchy, Confucius societies, both Korea and Japan.
How do you feel curating these sections? So the possibility to have a sort of relationship between these two traditions, actually, here in a space just like SPA.
I think Korea, Japan, maybe for the Western audience, they may look very similar, but in our perspective, we're like totally different. So even people, we feel like, oh, it's a very different sensibility. And I think that is something that we need to embrace also, like this kind of a different way of life and different way of art, what we consider beautiful, what we consider ugly. So, but I think there's still a lot of room left for maybe future generation or my generation to keep continuing the dialogue. And I think contemporary art is I think for contemporary art, this international connection is a must because we need to be somehow relevant to each other. Or
Thank you. What do you think about that? Do you have something in mind?
In this venue, it is little bit difficult to talk about the relationship between Korea and Japan because there's just a few galleries participating. But in general, between Korea and Japan, it's, we generally talk about the market, especially. Korean is about 30 years delayed compared to Japan. It was like a few years ago. We always talk about that because, but uh, because the Japanese artwork is supported by the government a lot, like already 30 years ago. But in Korea at that time, there is no support from the government. So someone went to the Japan and see that kind of a situation, and he back to the Korea and insist that if we want to be developed as a global art, uh, government have to support the artist, and then we start to begin that kind of a system, that kind of a system. Then now we feel like we have lots of support system for the artist, and then it's better than Japan, I think, because Japan now they got support more from the private companies, yeah, if rather than government, I heard. But in Korea, government is very, very actively support the artists right now. So that kind of a situation is a little bit different. And then uh, the Japanese uh, artists' price was really low, and when they introduced it in outside the country, they got really high price, and then back imported to the Japan, and they became really good high prices. In Korea, few years ago, since before a few years ago, it looks like there is no market of young Korean artists. But now we have lots of collectors developed, and then they start to invest to the Korean artists. So that kind of situation is a little bit different. And now Japanese art market really want to know about Korean art market as well. So it's a kind of, a little bit we behind the Japanese, but now it's a little bit similar, or like a competition situation, I think. Mm.
So yeah, let's start a relation thanks to the art market. And yeah, exchange really touches that.
But yeah, art market. But beside art market, we have to research more about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because lots things going on now, and many things are got a similar situation also. So we have to very micro spectrally. We have to see it.
Thank you so much for that. I appreciate talk to you about this theme. And see you next time. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.